Hunter, welcome to the Big Man's Cabana. Guys, we have on one of my personal best friends for the past, I don't know, we've been friends for how long? Football's been since when? Say freshman year of high school?
No, you've met me longer than that, but we'll say freshman.
Well, because even with Shirley and I, we used to play football way back in the day too, but we weren't as close as we are now. Even same with you, we all knew each other, but I think we all got really close, especially our senior year, whatever it was. But yeah, dude. So Hunter McClain, guys, this dude is in a constant state of hustle every single day. So you went from what? You were at work today.
Mm-hmm.
Went to work, came here, and now you're gonna go from here to what?
Probably go work out. I'm selling some things as well. But that's kind of my day-to-day today. So.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
So, all right. So you are in PT over at Westchester now.
Yeah, I work at MRCP, which is a physical therapy place, and I'm just an aide. And basically, the rundown of what I do is whatever the PT needs me. So if he needs me to clean equipment, or I might show clients how to do a stretch, or I'll give them ice or hot pack, or I'll do the dirty work that the PT doesn't want to do because
sure.
He already had his time
doing
the dirty work, so now he gets to do kind of the fun play. But he also teaches me lessons on how the business side of it is, and how lawyers suck dick, and for a lot of people that come into our clinic, it's we get civility cases. So if someone falls at a work site and breaks their leg or something like that. We have this one client cut off his finger, and it was it was
wait. So when they come in, right? You can have someone who can cut off a finger. Okay, how does that happen?
So we had this one client, and he worked with chain well, I think it was an archery or whatever. You can climb on trees and you cut tree branches off, a chainsaw. I guess he was just being a fucking idiot or whatever, and just cut his top of his finger off, his first DPI, and he lost it, and then no longer
DPI.
It's a distal phalange. It was his top finger right here.
Dude, you and Jason are so smart. The amount of for me being an education major and then watching someone like you or Jason just studying and learning about anatomy, physiology, and I know your one weed out course is zoology, and it's you guys are up at all hours in the night studying, and then for me it's I can kind of do homework when I need to do homework. I don't have to worry about it as much, and then I feel like a bum because it's all right, well, I'm gonna go to bed. I just got done work. I'm gonna go to bed or work on the podcast, and then I'll wake up, go to the gym, do schoolwork, and you guys are already studying. You're already from work then to study to school, or I know we were talking about on Monday to do a podcast with Kevin and I, but you're gonna be in school till what, 4?
Yeah. I just want to say that a lot of towards the end of, because I'm an exercise science major, and it's just bullshit the last couple of classes, except the last 2, because you have an internship, which I think is helps you a lot because you get to learn shit. And then 2, you're fine, is strength and conditioning coaching, and all, what you can get a certification for, and you can make $60,000 to $150,000 based off of wherever you go on your profession. If you want to be a baseball, strength and conditioning to lead you to high school. So I think what our major does, you have a wide range of opportunity.
Sure.
It doesn't have to be just this one thing. But I feel as a teacher, you have you only have a narrow road. You know what I mean? It's tunnel vision.
Yeah. Well, that is the one thing. Jason was talking to me about exactly that. It's you can go into PT, and if the PT doesn't so much work, you have that because he's in allied health, and I'm sure you're doing the same thing. So it's you have so many different avenues to kind of go through and do. But it's for me, it's you done school. You can't go for your master's yet because you have to play that game where they have to pay you your degree.
Yeah.
But because they're paying you your degree, is it like, okay, could I pay this kid with no experience $80,000 because he has his master's? But someone like you guys, you have to get that master's, and even like most of you guys are gonna go for your doctorate, and it's like you guys are doing like actual shit. Like I know, like Jason's over at Mishak, and just him being a tech or like an aide is just wild. Like the fact that you guys can tell me exactly what's going on in my body without me even knowing. Like, he has schooled me on so much shit. It's not even funny. I feel like an idiot all the time.
I mean, the average Joe doesn't know a lot. Like, because,
Sure.
you know, because they don't, in quotation marks, care enough about, like, you know, themselves to do
Sure.
it. So,
Yeah.
so to have, like, a physical therapist or, like, personal trainer to just, like, have you to be motivated or to, like, find your why and, like, why do you want to do this? Because a lot of clients come in, like for personal trainers or something, they're like, oh, I want to lose weight. And then, you know, you're like, okay, well, why do you want to lose weight?
Yeah.
Like, is there a reason? And then, because you can lose weight at any time of your life, you know?
Yeah.
And, but sometimes, you know, like, we're learning in class is like, they don't do that. Like, maybe they only work out if they're in a social environment, so they have to get friends to do it. And they're like, okay.
Well, see, that's the thing that I always hated, and like I don't have the schooling that you guys do. I just learn and just absorb. But I always hate that it's like I'll get the DMs or whatever it is. Like I'll when I got after beer muscles, right, when I qualified for Nats, people were like, "Yo, I want to work out. I want to lose weight." I'm like, well, for what? Like, what are you trying to do? Because like, you might not even need to really work out that much and do like a strict program, because it might just be, maybe you just need to like be in the gym more, or maybe you just need to fix your diet. Like, are you like, you know, going to Wendy's 6 times a day, or like, are you not eating? Because like what I've learned, and please correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm also a moron.
No one's stupid.
I'm pretty dumb, but like I know I've learned that with my cut then for beer muscles, I was actually eating more, but it was like bison or chicken or rice or whatever it was, and I found that I was actually cutting weight than what I was eating.
Yeah, I mean, there's like it's 80% diet. It's 80% of whatever you put in. You know this.
Yeah.
And 20% exercise. You know. As
I sit here and drink a cold brew Guinness on a Tuesday as I skip class. Anyways, I'm sorry, guys. It has to happen. I can only get Hunter on here at certain times of the day, so I had to steal him today. But yeah, no, I definitely would agree. I think a lot of people don't realize that too. And I've seen that especially like in strongman, where a lot of these kids would come in, right? They're like our age, like 22, 23. And they're like, okay, well, why am I struggling to get maybe like this deadlift, or I'm struggling to get this overhead press? I'm like, okay, well, you have a program, but are you not eating properly? Are you not recovering properly? Like whatever it is. And like how important would you say recovery is in like an aspect of not even just lifting, but just like in general?
I mean, like recovery is probably the most important thing than the exercise itself or the training itself, because if you can't recover well, then the next time you go to work out is just going to be shitty, and you're going to be like,
sure,
well, you don't gain anything from your exercise or your training or practice, because you didn't take the necessary steps to better yourself. You know, so always when you're done working out, you should always take a nice cold like shower, not a hot shower. Or
interesting.
Yeah. Or
I didn't know that.
Or you do hot or 20 minutes cold, 20 minutes hot, 20 minutes cold, 20 minutes hot in the shower.
20 on, 20 off.
Yeah.
Interesting. So okay.
Because you work your joints for the cold and stretches them out, and then the heat relaxes the muscles, so you get a quicker recovery time.
So okay. I actually didn't know that.
Yeah.
So I'm learning today, dude. This is awesome. So you're saying, right, the cold is going to stretch out my muscles, which I didn't know that. I thought that tensed them.
No. Cold stretches your joints and everything. So that's like your elbows, your shoulders, your knees, your hips. It loosens them up, so it can relax and relax.
Yeah.
And the heat kind of makes your muscles more like expand out, so it can.
Well, yeah, I did know that. I did know that, because I will find myself heating before I get to the gym. Like if I'm like today when I squat, I'm definitely gonna be heating beforehand, and then I'll be doing more dynamic movements than just like static stretching.
Yeah.
which now I don't know if this is a fact, but I've heard this, and I don't know if this is just a tendency of TikTok or Instagram. I did hear this from reliable sources, but for someone who's like in PT, do you have more of a chance of getting injured for static stretching than you do dynamic stretching, or does it not really matter?
That's like he said, she said stuff. Like
Okay.
it depends on like what you're trying to accomplish. You know what I mean? So, but always like athletes, you always want to do more dynamic stretching than static stretching because
Interesting.
what you do in a game is more dynamic movements. You know what I mean?
Okay, that makes sense.
And dynamic is more like free weights and stuff like that. And what you do. So
Yeah.
and static is more like a Smith machine type movement.
Okay.
So that's more like a supportive.
Yeah, because I was
or non-movement.
interesting. Yeah, I was schooled. I was this one girl that I lived with. Well, you know Patsy. She was like, I think you should do more dynamic movements, and I found that with like today when I went and squatted, I knew I have a heavy single or a heavy double, so I was hopped on the adductor machine, warmed up with that with banded good mornings, and I found that even when I deadlift, I'll superset banded good mornings with kettlebell swings, and I'll do a 5x5 with each hand, and I found that my lifts are a lot better. I'm not as
rigid.
Yeah, like when I'll get under the bar or I'm grabbing onto the bar, whatever I'm doing, I found that interesting. Okay, yeah, because I've heard from a lot of people that will say that almost the same thing. So that was interesting because I was doing a lot of static movements.
Yeah.
So when you are going to like squat, or you're going to deadlift, or you're going to overhead press or bench, what would you say are like the best warm-ups? Let's just say for squat, like if you're squatting, how are you warming up?
I mean, I usually do like side squats, or lunges to like one side, and back and forth, or you can do like leg kicks, butt kicks, sumo squats, those are good, and then good like hip rolls.
Interesting.
And then I'd finish it off with 1 to 2 like static stretches. So you can do like a figure 4, and a figure 4 is basically you cross one leg over, bring your other hand through the hole, and grab your shin and pull it towards you. Really good. It stretches your piriformis, which is basically 4 muscles, 4 to 5 muscles.
In your glute, right?
Yep, near your glute. And that really stretches it because that's always tight. And then you always want to stretch your calf muscles. And
well, that's how I got fucked up.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember this. I couldn't walk like properly.
I don't remember that.
Oh, dude. Well, I'm good. I kept under wraps then. I competed at Timeout. I did that promotional event with them. But it wasn't it was what? Oh. Sorry. I ADHD just but you're fine. You're good. You're so fine. I competed there, but the weights weren't that bad. So Rick and I and everyone kept along with the same deadlift program. That following Sunday, we went to pole. I think I had 725 on the bar, and I hitched. The next day, I couldn't walk. I couldn't get out of bed. And they were like, your piriformis is tight as fuck. Your L5 is basically bulging. And that's why, like, because my ass.
Which is not good because that means you could get needles.
Yes. They were very close. If it wasn't for the fact that I have friends like you or brother like Jason and people and like Patsy who were like, you don't need the needle, just fucking stretch and don't be an asshole. Like before, like this, couldn't do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? But like now with all the stretching and like listening to all you guys saying like PT, like I don't have.
It's not PT, it's just stretching.
Just stretch. Well, you know what I'm saying, like physical therapy. Because I mean, isn't that like stretching, physical therapy, just being?
I mean, athletic trainers do that. Exercise sciences, like wherever you go, they're gonna. Like no American stretches enough until something terrible happens to them, until something affects them, and they're like, why can't I do what I used to do?
Yep.
It's like, well, you're not, you don't stretch, and I'm not gonna be ignorant and say I don't stretch all the time. Yeah. So like I'm not gonna,
Yeah.
And so, you just. Because you're worried about life things, finance. If you got kids or a wife, that's more on your mind than stretching your hamstring. Or
Yes.
whatever.
No, you're 1,000% correct. And I think I had that big like waking up moment where I was like, okay, I think I need to just kind of take a step back, really reevaluate, and like stretch.
Yeah.
And I found that my lifts have gotten better, but
Yeah.
I don't think I would have found that out if I didn't fuck myself up. Which is isn't that a wild like hot take?
Yeah.
I feel like you should have already been doing that, because like when I went to go to Rothman, they're like, well, why haven't you been doing this before? If you've done this competition stuff, you should kind of figure this out. And I'm like, yeah, well, you think you're bulletproof until you're not, and then when you figure out you're not bulletproof and you're fucked up, then it's like, man, I should have listened to Hunter or Shirley or Jason. Yeah.
That's the problem. When you're young, it doesn't affect you because you're young and your body can recover like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you hit like 25, and that's when our bodies start deteriorating.
Really?
Yep. And then that's when you start shrinking and your metabolism goes down, and you're already not exercising. So if you're an average Joe and you haven't exercised by the age of 25, then your health plummets super quickly, and those are the people that die younger than average. So if you keep but if you already have exercised and keep on exercising, those people live longer. From the research that has shown that. So.
I have a goal to get to the Arnold by the time I'm like 25. Like get to the Arnold, like not just be there, but just like compete and be.
I mean, still be there.
Yeah, but fuck, if you tell me 25, I gotta really get on my shit too.
I mean, that does. That's just an average, So like maybe yours is 27. You never.
Yeah.
It's all about how well you maintain yourself.
Yeah.
At the same time,
So. Isn't it weird how like when we were in high school playing football, it's like 9th grade. They're like, these 4 years are gonna fly past you, and now we're both graduating college, and it's like, damn. Now we're getting old. Now we're having to reevaluate our lifts and stretch and do all this shit. And it's like, well, maybe this was something that I should have been watching out for.
Yeah, I feel like it definitely did fly by. And I just think our coaches didn't do it the best way. Like, share it or like, they said, oh, it's just going to fly by. But they didn't give reasons why or like what. It was like, oh, this is going to happen. You're like, okay, well, why? Or how does this happen? Or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yep.
They don't explain their reason or their statement. They just say this. And
I wish they would have taught us how to properly lift. Because like it wasn't until I think I left high school and I started lifting at the gym. Shout out Jim and Taylor Studio. Or was it CrossFit Alcides now? Is that Gym and Tan Line? The gym and CrossFit Alcides, I think, is the new branded name. But what I have learned is that like when we would squat, right, we would have those max days, and you would see everyone's heels come up, or you'd see like quarter squats with just way too much weight, and they would count it, and they would give you that that gratification of, oh, you got this lift, you got this record. And I look back at it, and I'm like, I watched like my old bench when I broke that record. My lats were not engaged. That was just such a bro bench. I remember my like Coach Sean used to put like 10s under my heels, and then when I would max out, like obviously you can't use the 10s, it doesn't count. But then it's like my heels are coming up. Now I'm in pain, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's definitely bullshit. And so my sister's in 7th grade, goes to Springford. Okay. And she wanted to go to a game. Sure. And I went to a football game with her, and she's not even fucking watching the game, so I was fucking pissed off. But I'm sitting in the fucking stands, right? And I feel like a fucking dad.
Oh, dude.
And let me just tell you, parents are fucking assholes because they're talking shit about kids on their fucking team. Yep. And I was like, bro, they're on the fucking same team. Why are you talking shit? You should fucking motivate them. But that's how people fucked up. But anyway, fucking Brubaker is still that fucking head coach. And I wish that they would Springfield would hire a strength and conditioning coach or something, because
no, they have one.
Well, then he's doing a shitty fucking job.
Well, so that's the thing, right? Sorry, I keep moving the mic. I feel like I'm hiding. So they hired this guy Gio, which Ryan has told me he's not good. And I'm sorry, this is a hot take for you, bro. If you watch this, like I know you watched a lot of the other podcasts, you give me feedback, but yeah, apparently like I looked at their program and now he's one having these kids deadlift, which I disagree with. Two, I think they should be doing a lot more power cleans and more explosive work. And three, he's having these kids, like wide receivers, running backs, doing max sets almost, and they're maxing out every 3 weeks.
Yeah,
like what kind of peaking is that? Like they're not peaking. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm an idiot.
The average, like an average program that you want to start off with is 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And then from there, it's just maintain. And what you're going to do in the off season is going to be totally different than what you do in the regular season and postseason. What you like, and the goals will be different too. Like off season, you want to be the strongest you can possibly be to start the regular season, and then the regular season, you just want to, maintain the strength that you currently have.
Agreed.
But then each play, like how Springfield did it for us, is it's one thing, and running backs, receivers, quarterbacks, linemen, D-line have the same program. But really, everyone should have their own thing. But I think it's I don't want to say that they were lazy doing that, but they were lazy doing that.
No, they were, and I think that's what bothers me is like I look at my programs now, right? And I've gotten to the point where I can kind of sit down and break my own program, adapt to what I need, and I sometimes I look back and I think like, damn, that is not how I would have done that. And if I have, because I used to look at Ryan's program, because Ryan would ask me questions, I would help him change things, but he would go to the why, and I'm like, dude, I don't know why you're like, and this is what I told him. I'm like, listen, you're an athlete, but you're not a strength athlete. You're lifting to be strong and to produce. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, if you're peaking and again, correct me if I'm wrong. Like I know I'm also an idiot. I don't have you're working for the degree that you have.
No one's stupid.
But I disagree. There's definitely stupid people. I had a woman the other day ask me if our cauliflower crust is gluten-free. 2 months ago, Cody can verify this. He had someone ask him if our mozzarella sticks have dairy in them. But
you can have cheese that isn't dairy product though.
Well, no, I understand, but it's also like I feel like, if you're gonna ask that and they're not like it's just like a bar, I feel like the cauliflower crust still got me. But
you can have stupid questions or whatever, but I don't like people aren't stupid though.
Yeah, you're not wrong. They're still intelligent beings.
Yeah.
I guess I'm being too harsh. I guess when you work in the hospitality industry, people.
I had so many people cry, and like you're supposed to be super empathetic, obviously, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I totally understand," but really, I've never been in a car accident or lost a finger, but like I've had other like setbacks. You know what I mean? So they can be like, I know, like this time in your life fucking sucks, but you like I'm here to get you through that time, that rough time.
See, that's why you're a lot better person than I am, Hunter.
You know what I mean?
Well, see, like I feel like if I when I was working with kids, right, and I was a teacher aide, I was very sympathetic to a lot of situations. My patience was impeccable, and I know I'm saying that it sounds a little fucked up for me saying that, but I will say my patience for other people, like you guys, obviously you're all my best friends. Like I have patience, but like I've noticed that from when I was working there to now being like a sous chef, like I've noticed my patience for people just doesn't exist. Like unless you're my friend or my family, like I have zero patience. And I don't know if that's because we're on the different side of the hospitality industry. Like I'm in the back of the house, so I'm just getting my ass. I can tell you to fuck off, and you won't hear me or see me because I'm in the kitchen. But if they do something stupid, you have to be like, oh, it's okay, Deborah, you'll be all right. That's why I give you a lot of props just for that. I don't know if I'll be able to do that, especially now.
Yeah, there's definitely some clients that I've come across in the year and a half that I've been at MRCP, and it's just like some of the people are just like why? Like why act this way? Like a lot of people blame other people, but it's like, but it's hard to accept like their fate and where they're at in life right now, and and I think part of my job is like getting them to that point of like, you're here now. I can see that, yeah. You're here now. Let's just like yeah, fucking
Work
sucks
through
for your
this.
ass, and let's get you back to what you like to do.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah.
Isn't that wild though?
Mm.
Dude, like things like that always freaked me out. It was like, going into PT, I always feel like I would just be like judged, like, oh, this was totally avoidable. Like when I fucked on my back, like I knew I was gonna see Maria or John, and they'd be like, why are you here? And I'm like, well, I deadlifted, but I did this, and it's kind of an idiot. And I know they wanted to be like, Matt, you were fucking stupid, but they're also like, they're like you. They're respectful people that are working in the industry. They're professionals. Like, they're not going to say that. But it's like,
I mean, people are going to feel the way that they feel about themselves and view them. But, like I'm a strong believer in, like, positive thinking and like...
I would agree.
Like, in the text that in our group chat, this one guy's going for his interview today. I hope he gets
NV,
it.
yeah, Charles.
But, he kind of... I felt like when I read his text, he kind of had, like, a negative view on it. And, that's why I flipped it around and, like, like 500 people tried and, like, 485 of them failed to get the position that you're looking at. Like, and when you change someone's perspective on things, like in PT or in life in general, like, like this energy of them is like, it uplifts them and feel like their weight changes.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you know this, but beer muscles and this podcast that I started, right, is legitimately because of the back of your phone case.
Yeah.
I told you, I was like, it's your comfort zone. I'll never forget it. Your comfort zone will kill you.
Mm-hmm.
And, I got very comfortable with, just doing one podcast, because I love doing this. I love editing videos. And I think has become a lot of a passion aside from teaching and, school and all that stuff and cooking. But I've noticed that, because with you, like you very, very introverted, but you still go out, you have fun, you do all this stuff. And I'm like, you know what? Like, for as positive as he is, like, why am I not doing that? Why am I just, sitting in Royersford, going to school, going to the gym, and then just be comfortable, like, just doing something. Like, why not fill some of the time that I have? Like, my comfort zone is going to kill me. And I could see that. I could just see myself drifting, just going through school, going to work. And I'm like, well, I'm not doing anything. Like, what can I do differently? And that's when I kind of came up with this idea. I'm like, well, why don't I start my own podcast connected to, like, Stuttering in Silence? Shameless plug. Mm-hmm. But yeah, your phone case, believe it or not, changed a lot of my perspective on how I see things.
Yeah.
It changed my deadlift program.
Yeah, I mean, you have one life, and the worst someone can say to you is no. Mm-hmm. And the worst thing you do if you try something that you've never done before is you tried, and then you won't ever have a regret because you said I tried and I gave it my all. And no one can take it away from me. And,
isn't that a wild concept?
Yeah, and people can talk shit or whatever they want, but at the end of the day, you're not here to to make them happy. You're here to make yourself happy. Yeah. And the God upstairs. So
isn't that a wild thing? There's always one thing that I learned from working at Vector that has helped me with a lot of things. Is the aspect of people saying no, right? And here's how I look at it now: is when they would teach us to sell. Like, let's say, like, I would talk to you, like, I'd be like, all right, I'm going to hit up Hunter, see if he wants to buy. We'll do a demonstration. Worst comes to worst, he doesn't get it. He doesn't buy it. Or worst comes to worst, he says no. But you always have that fear of rejection. So here's how I see it now. I forget what the terminology is called for it, but it's if you ask and they say no, that's the worst they're going to say. Most people aren't going to be rude. But if you ask, right, you're going to get one or two options. They're going to say yes or they're going to say no. But if they say no, you already have a no technically because you haven't seen this person, you haven't talked to this person, you haven't gotten an answer. So you're starting at ground zero. And if they say no, guess what? You're right the fuck back where you were. But if they say yes, now you went from ground zero and now you're on the 13th floor. Or the 13th bad, it's the 12th floor. But what I'm saying is once I learned that, asking people, doing certain things, it's gone a lot easier. And then I see something like back of your phone case, like your comfort zone will kill you. Like I think about it all the time. Like it sounds so trivial, but it has become a very integrated part of my life in such a weird way. And I don't know if you ever knew that, but like it's just a fact. It's like, okay, well, this is happening, but why? Oh, okay, well this is this would be considered my comfort zone. If I'm doing a 6-4-2, the deadlift, okay, what if I did like a 4x4 at 70%, increase the weight on the third week, take a week 4 off, just do upper back. Now, 600, 650, like, not as hard as it was, and totally coming back. So I don't know if you knew that, but your phone case, like, it's changed a lot of things.
Well, I didn't know that, but I'm glad it does.
It's wild.
And it's like a cheesy thing, like you hear all the time, but like sometimes the cheesiest things like give you the greatest results. You know.
Well, it goes back to the you ever heard the terminology KISS?
Yeah.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. It really is a wild thing. But real quick, do you just imagine that we've already been through 30 minutes of this?
No.
Yeah, it's wild, right?
All right, I'm gonna stop this talk.